Cheat on my friend, I'll kick you out of high school. I was told from r/pro revenge that this story belongs here. This story happened back when I was in high school, about 5 years ago, so I think it's safe to talk about now. One of my good friends and teammate, we'll call him Stan, had a girlfriend, we'll call her Liz, back during our junior year of high school. No one on our team really liked Liz. She was pretty self-centered and was always that obnoxious girl in class who always wanted to be the center of attention. She also was one of the more attractive girls in our class, and she knew it. Liz was the kind of girl who would do anything to be popular, and in this case, that meant getting in a relationship with our top wrestler/football player. Stan, however, is a great guy. He was team captain, scholar athlete, took advanced courses in school, and I'm not even kidding when I say he was friends with everyone in that school. So coming into junior year, when most athletes go from the JV squad to varsity, it was no surprise that Liz started flirting with Stan more and hanging out around him in the halls during lunch and before school. Soon Stan and Liz got together and made it Facebook official. Of course, people were happy for them, but my teammates and I could tell, soon after they got together, that she was not a good match for Stan. She was very pushy. She always invited herself to our team get-togethers, which mostly was 10 to 15 guys in a house watching Monday Night Football or playing videos games and going over our playbook. Anytime Stan would go out anywhere, Liz would try and force her way in somehow, and if Stan went out without her, she would constantly text him and make him feel bad for not inviting her, thus ruining his time, since he would spend most of his time on the phone with her calming her down from her tantrums. However, after about 3 months of being together, one of our teammates found she made a profile on a dating app. We told Stan about it and he confronted Liz. Somehow she made a good enough excuse that Stan bought it and they stayed together, but not for long. About 3 weeks after the incident, Stan caught her cheating on him with another guy from a different school. He saw them at a restaurant holding hands over the table. He was picking up dinner for his family. After he dropped the food off at home, he went to Liz's place to find her sitting on top of this guy, making out, and with the guy's hands on her chest. Her house had one of those small angled windows next to the front door where when the blinds are up, you can see into the living room from behind the couch. He took a photo and left, holding back tears and feeling broken. They broke up that night, and since that was Stan's first real girlfriend, it really took a toll on him. His grades started slipping. At this point, he was in wrestling season, and he lost a lot of weight from stress and not eating. All his friends tried to cheer him up, but what made it worse was the fact that not even a week later, Liz was with some new guy, not even the same guy from the photo. She also rubbed salt on his wounds by openly talking to our classmates saying how great the new guy was in bed. Liz was Stan's first. My teammates and I were pissed. We were watching as our friend was getting more and more sad each day, and how Liz kept screwing with Stan emotionally. This continued for about 5-6 weeks. That's when we had enough. It was time to kick her out of our school. Now the state we lived in had just passed a law allowing the use of recreational marijuana for people over the age of 21, but shops weren't open yet. So I contacted my older brother, who had just graduated from college from a town notorious in the state for its pot culture. I told him the story and gave him some money to get some green stuff. Our plan was to stash the green stuff in her locker, then have one of our female friends anonymously leave a tip to the office saying Liz was smoking in the bathroom stalls. No one ever really used their locker in school, but since Stan and Liz were together, they did the clique couples thing where they shared a locker since her locker was in the middle of the school. What I didn't expect was my friend wanting to pitch in, and also leave in her locker a couple of his doctor-prescribed Addy pills. We were young and didn't know the serious charges that could come from that. We just knew it wasn't legal for her to have those if she wasn't prescribed them. So, we took the green stuff and pills, and one day after the last class let out, when she was by her locker putting her textbooks away, we distracted her and I tucked the goodie bag behind one of her bottom textbooks and shifted the top book against the back of the locker so you couldn't see it unless you pulled out the top textbook and looked in the bottom back corner of the locker. We did this during the day because our school had cameras in the hallways, and we thought it would look suspicious if someone who wasn't Liz opened up the locker. Our friend later after school called the office making the tip. Now since the school knew that pot had just become legal, they had a zero-tolerance policy with medication and alcohol. The following Monday before school, started, we watched as the student resource officer came in with a canine and proceeded to sniff out all the lockers in the school. They marked each locker that the canine sat in front of, and locked them so you couldn't open them, even if you took the padlock off. I think there was a total of 6 or 7 lockers marked, but it didn't matter to us. The green stuff that was in Liz's locker was so strong that you could smell it just by walking past it down the hall. Later we heard that during first period, the officer came into Liz's class and pulled her out. We're guessing she had to open the locker in front of him and let him search. Of course, he found the baggie, but what we later heard was that she even failed a medication test. She must have smoked prior to the incident. She was charged with a juvenile felony because of the pills and green stuff and was expelled. She tried to blame Stan, saying that they shared a locker earlier in the year, but with his great track record in school, and the fact that he offered to take a medication test, which he of course passed, they didn't believe it for a second. Liz went on to rant about the situation on Facebook, blaming the school for an invasion of privacy. Liz had to spend the rest of her high school classes at one of the district's remedial high schools, the type with stricter teachers and metal detectors and pat-downs as you enter. The following senior year, Stan went on to have one of his best years. He graduated with honors, got accepted into his dream college, and won Male Athlete of the Year. Meanwhile, Liz still showed up to her high school's away football and basketball games so she could hang out with her friends, but during the summer, right after graduation, Liz came out on social media saying she was 5 months pregnant. She must have gotten knocked up right before graduation. Stan has now graduated with his degree and was able to travel this last summer with his girlfriend around parts of Asia. Meanwhile, Liz is dealing with the struggle of being a single parent, working full-time as a receptionist for a clinic, and still living at home with her parents. TLDR, cheat on my friend, I'll plant green stuff and pills in your locker and get you expelled. Edit, since most people believe the revenge was too severe, allow me to show you how I see it. We wanted to get her in trouble in order to make her leave the school, and it worked. But, it only worked because she failed the medication test. If she was clean, she would have been cited by the school, maybe suspended for possession, but not expelled, because she failed the medication test. Not our fault she chose to smoke in her life. She had to attend a remedial high school, which she graduated from, and had just as many, if not more opportunities to attend college, explained in comments. When she turned 18 during that senior year, because it was a juvenile offense, it was dropped. She was no longer a minor, so it was completely off her record why she was able to pass a background check for her job in a clinic. What's preventing her from going to college, I believe, that is if she wants to attend a university, is the fact that she got knocked up and needs to support a child now. Again, this isn't my fault. She had unprotected romance and had a kid because of it. All I'm at fault for is making her switch schools, and putting a juvenile record on her for maybe about 7 months, which again, was lifted when she turned 18. Hi guys, please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Whoever said it was too severe is in the wrong sub, because that is what it's about. Thank you. I keep reading comments where people say it's too severe, and that's the exact purpose of this sub. It's irritating the hell out of me. Girl did not get enough punishment for what she did. Cheating is wrong, and emotionally ducking with someone afterwards and making them sad is even worse. All the people downvoting have either cheated on someone, or have never been cheated on. Damn, even I want to be friends with Stan. Great story. A lot of kids in high school are assholes. Is she one? Absolutely. But this is a bit much. Yes, I understand the theory of nuclear revenge, and I would even applaud getting her back. She sucks. I just think it's a very uneven revenge for what she did. She didn't ruin his life. First breakups are rough, yet he was able to walk away relatively unscathed. So, this is a bit much. Jesus Christ. She deserved it. Do you mean actual football or weird American football? American football, with touchdowns and field goals.